So welcome back, everyone. I'm super excited about bringing on my next guest. I got some newbies with me, and if you have a dog, they probably need to be trained. A lot of them do. I have with me James Sherrin. He's the owner of the Dog Wizard Scottsdale. He also has with him Isaiah Roberson, and he is the trainer, the dog trainer there. I want you to tell everybody first a little bit about yourselves and what makes you different. Go ahead.
Right. Well, what makes us different at the Dog Wizard is we provide tailored training programs for the dog and their owner to make sure the dog and the owner are living their best life possible.
Now, before you came on, I'm just going to go ahead and take care of this, a little bit of this stuff that we need to get out here. You told me that you are not just in Scottsdale, that you are valley-wide, and the fun thing is yes, it is a franchise. They're the only ones here in Arizona that is the Dog Wizard. And they are valley-wide, but what really makes them different is that they come to you. They're mobile.
Correct.
So that's really fun. And the other thing that you do is a free evaluation. I want you to talk about those real quickly.
Sure thing. So we provide a free evaluation, and for that evaluation we can come to your home and do the evaluation there, or we can do the evaluation over the telephone.
So let's go. What is your philosophy?
So our philosophy is to try to deliver the best life that we can for the dog and the owner, and we do that through using balanced training methods. We also provide lifetime support for the dog once it graduates, and that support can transfer out of Phoenix. So if you were to move to, say, Chicago, that support would go to a Dog Wizard franchise in Chicago.
Now, everybody knows a dog that is naughty, right? And you even know it yourself, that your dog might be naughty. Is it ever too late, Isaiah, is it ever too late for somebody to call and get their dog trained?
No. I think as soon as you have an idea of what you want your dog to do, whether it just be basic behavioral issues or they're having behavioral issues that are already preloaded, say you adopted a dog, yeah, it's never too late to come into us and get your dog trained.
And they come to you and they're valley-wide. You could check them out on their website, is thedogwizard.com. Their phone number is 602-609-3808, and they do free evaluations in-home or in-person or on the phone. And but really, when, let's say somebody gets a new dog, okay, when should they call you?
Immediately.
I say so too. You know, it's funny because some dogs, I met a dog the other day, it was a tiny puppy, but it was definitely, biting me, right?
Yes.
Have you seen that? I'm
Yes.
sure. Now, Isaiah, you mentioned that you do these free evaluations. When you come in, what do you do? Do you let the dog kind of run around and see what it's doing, or does the owner is telling you, oh my God, the dog is peeing on the floor or whatever he's doing? Well, how does that work? What does that look like?
Yeah, so I have questions that I normally ask the owner, and that can range anywhere from, what are their original training goals, but I sort of just sit there and listen to them, and they'll tell me kind of what the dog's issues are, and that's where I can kind of fit them into a program that'll fit their lifestyle and their dogs.
And what's nice is they come to you, they do it in your home. You know, I know when I took my dog a long time ago to get trained, the hardest part about it is it wasn't in my home, and that they were going around everywhere trying to get involved with all. So they're at home, they're going to learn it in their space. I think that's really important, right? And the big thing is that what makes, I think, them the biggest difference is that they're mobile. So they do come to you, and I think that's really nice. Check them out on their website. It is thedogwizard.com. They're valley-wide. They do these free evaluations for you. Their phone number is 602-609-3808. James, I want to know what makes you so, how the Dog Wizard works and all of the things that you do. Because you're the one side of it, and Isaiah is the training, right? So let's talk a little bit about so the other things besides making you mobile that makes you different.
So I think it's that one, that we're mobile, that we come to you. You don't have to travel. That takes a lot of the burden out of having your dog go through training. The second thing is our lifetime support for graduates. Whether you're here or you move out of the valley, that lifetime support's always there for you and your dog. The third thing would be our training program. The Dog Wizard has its own training program through something called the Academy. And regardless of the amount of experience that the trainer has, they have to go through that training program. So for Isaiah, for example, he has almost 10 years of personal experience training dogs. Even with that, he still had to go to the Academy and prove that he knew what he was talking about and make sure that he was training in the Wizard way.
So the dogs need to know that they know their stuff before they get any kind of certificate, is that correct?
Yes.
Good idea. Because a lot of places they don't. And you know what? You spend sometimes a lot of money and nothing really changes, and that's kind of a hard thing. But they gotta prove it. This one, they gotta prove it.
Correct. And the training that they go through at the Academy, it's multiple choice exams, written exams, and then also working hands-on with an existing Dog Wizard trainer, proving again that they know what they're doing.
The other thing that I wanted to ask you is this. With dog training, sometimes people think they're gonna have to be doing it for a long time. What's your programs like?
Well, as balance trainers, we can help you achieve great results in a very short period of time.
So when you say balance training, and this is where I come in, where I make you guys be able to just talk off the cuff, okay? Because I know this is not on there, but what is that? How does that work?
So basically what balance training is we use a plethora of tools to get the end results that we need for each individual client and dog. So it's not a one size fits all. So, any tool that you can think of, whether it's a slip lead, all the way up to an e-collar, but we don't just slap that on every single dog. The philosophy there is, it really depends on the dog and it really depends on the owner and, how they want to go about training.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And how long are the classes?
So depending on the average class, so say we did a private, let's just say a private class or session, is about 5 sessions to 6 sessions. And so some of our other programs go all the way up to like 28 days. So it really just depends on what the client is needing or the dog's needing. That's where the eval kind of comes in and we paint that picture for them.
So go ahead.
Each individual session is about 2 hours.
Yes.
Wow, that's great because one thing that I notice is that when dogs get trained, especially if it's not in the home, is that their minds are somewhere else, especially if they're young, right?
They can only focus for so long.
Right, exactly. But the big thing is that we all know that dogs could probably need to be trained, especially if they're barkers, right? What are some of the when should they call when, like some of the other things that you notice that they gotta be trained on?
Jumping up on people. One of the main things here in the Dog Wizard that we really focus on is just a calm state of mind for the dog. So, obviously this is for puppies, but even your energetic dogs that are older. But jumping, barking, aggressive. So any dogs that are like biting at people or dogs, nipping, things like that, lunging on the leash, those are all things that we cover.
So a lot of people do adopt dogs,
Yes.
right? And some of them are older, some of them are whatever, a year or whatever. And you're saying that it doesn't matter how old they are, it's never too late to train them.
Yep, never too late.
Never too late. So their phone number to call is 602-609-3808. They're valley-wide and they do free evaluations that's in home or even over the phone. And they're mobile. They come to you, and that's what I love that you're mobile and that you come to them. And you can check them out. It's thedogwizard.com. Again, 602-609-3808. What did you want to say something?
No.
Okay. And I think that you have a philosophy, and it's important for people to know too. When you talk about tools, I want to just bring this out real quickly, because you say, is it bad to use them? Let's talk about that real quickly.
Yeah.
Because the minute you say it, then now we got to back that up, right?
Yeah.
So they can know.
And there's really no bad tool. There's only improper ways on using the tools. So, same thing with, a handsaw or things you might buy from Home Depot. There's improper ways that you can use them. So the tools are just ways for us to get proper communication to each individual dog and, to give the owner kind of a equalizer to help that dog along the way.
Mm-hmm. How about these group classes that you offer? How do you do that when you go to them?
So we will meet usually at a central location. So right now we do partner with like the Wiggle Zone. So we do small dog classes there. But if it were to be bigger dogs, we would meet at a park once a week for an hour and kind of work on the basic obedience while being in a class setting. So learning from me being the teacher, them being the students.
And the other thing that I see here is that these are customized programs.
Yes.
So that's pretty neat too. How do you know how to customize a program? Get right on that, Meg, so they can hear you.
Definitely based off of how the eval goes. So, you know, I've had clients in the past that need help with, you know, their child being, you know, kind of incorporated in the training or whatever the case might be, and that's kind of how I customize it to each individual client.
So they're mobile. They come to you. You can check them out on their website. They're valley-wide, and they do free evaluations. That's in-home or over the phone, 602-609-3808.